of business, I moved in the summary that the agenda just read, be received by the plenary and will be for discussion.
Before we state the motion, I read the vote. All in favor say yea. Against. Any intervention? Motion to adopt. All in favor say yea. Against. Silent receiver.
Communication from the President of the Republic of Liberia on nomination. Republic of Liberia, the President. Senator Yomli Kanga Lawrence, President pro tempore. The Senate in session. Capitol Building, Monrovia, Liberia. Madam President pro tempore, I am pleased to submit to your with the following nominations, pending Senate confirmation, where applicable for appointment in government. Grand Crew County, Awea Due, Senior. Commissioner, Double Administrative District. 2, Dennis Weir. Commissioner, Bolo Administrative District. I would greatly appreciate were this to be given expedited confirmation by the Senate so as to ensure smooth transition in the government. Kind regards. Sincerely, Joseph Nima Boaka Sr., President of the Republic of Liberia. Madam President pro tempore.
Distinguished colleagues, before the reading of the communication from the President, nominating the government, what is your word of pleasure? You are ready for the fines?
No.
Motion on the nomination from the President. Senator Bami.
I propose distinguished colleagues, after listening to a communication from the Chief of Secretary nominating several personalities to positions of government, I move that Dr. Innocent and said communication be sent to the relevant person for the process of
We've already stated, are you ready to vote? Already now, Councilor Slow.
Well, if you listen to the committee, there is no committee in our rules called regular committee.
Move it. Internal affairs. Yeah, that's local government. So, Dr. Are you ready to vote? All in favor say yea. The next one guessing.
Business on President's Day. Communication from the Honorable House of Representatives. Office of the Chief Clerk. February 4, 2026. Senator Yomli Kanga Lawrence, President pro tempore. The Senate in session. 55th Legislature, Capitol Building, Capitol Hill, Monrovia, Liberia. Dear Madam President pro tempore, Emenos. I present compliments and by directive of the Honorable House of Representatives in session. Acknowledge receipt of your communication dated February 2, 2026, reference requesting a conference committee to synchronize the consolidated report of the Central Bank of Liberia and come up with a study of the legislature favorable to both chambers before submitting same to the President of the Republic of Liberia. This is necessary based on the consolidated report of the Joint Public Account and Audit Committee. In view of the above, I'm pleased to forward for your consideration members of the House's Committee on Public Account expenditure, and audit that work along with you to make up the conference committee. They include 1. Honorable Clarence G. Gar, Chair. Honorable Prince K. Koina, Co-Chair. Honorable Sarafode Sekou Kane, Member. Honorable Jeremiah Garwood Sokan Sr., Member. Honorable Prince A. Toes, Member. Honorable Robert F. Womba, Member. Honorable Gisi K. Colini, Member. Honorable Manat Bishop Johnson, Member. And Honorable Dixon W. Sibo, Member. Best regards, sincerely, Mildred M. Sion, Chief Clerk, House of Representatives, Madam President, pro tempore.
Distinguished colleagues, that was a communication from the House of Representatives to set up the committee to resolve the issue on the PAC recommendation, right? So we will need to get a motion and form our conference committee. So a motion for that. Send us know.
Chair, having listened to the communication from the Chief Clerk of the House of Representatives setting up a conference committee on the House of Representatives and move if I can obtain a second that the listing, which is administrative and procedure, be accepted and that this body move to do similar by setting up the conference committee led by the chairman of the PAC to commence the work.
We've already seen that motion I read before. All in favor say yea. Against. So the PAC committee will constitute the conference. Secretary Senate.
Business of President State. Communication from Senator Quinton O. Duncan of Sandwich County, requesting the Senate to take the lead in reviewing and amending concession agreements as pronounced by the President of the Republic of Liberia. Communication from Senator Lieutenant F. Mangiel of Margibi County, requesting leave of absence pursuant to the Senate standing rules.
As noted, that Senator Margiel will be absent.
Communication from Senator Thomas Yaya Nimle of Grand Julia County, requesting leave of absence.
It's also noted that Senator Nimle will be absent.
Communication from Senator Edwin Melvin Snow Jr. of Bomi County regarding alleged reversal of immunization. The Liberian Senate, February 4, 2026. Senator Yombly Kanga Lawrence, President pro tempore. The Senate in session. 55th Legislature, Capitol Building, Capitol Hill, Monrovia, Liberia. Madam President pro tempore. Reference: alleged reversal of finance and development plan. Madam President pro tempore and distinguished colleagues, reports in our possession indicate that the Minister of Finance and Development Planning has reversed the harmonization of remuneration at some governing institutions to include but not limited to the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission (LACC), the General Auditing Commission (GAC), as well as the judiciary branch of government. There is no gainsaying that these reported actions raise serious and fundamental questions regarding legislative authorization, compliance with approved budgetary decisions, and adherence to that being repealed, amended, or otherwise modified by this legislature, provides the statutory basis for harmonization across public institutions, and does not, on its face, authorize unilateral reversal by the executive branch or any of its ministers and or organs. In consideration of the foregoing, and in keeping with the Senate's constitutional oversight responsibility, I respectfully request that this honorable body formally invite the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning to appear before the Senate to 1. Clarify the veracity of the reported reversal of harmonization, and 2. To provide a specific legal authority or statutory reliance under which such actions were taken, if any. These inquiries pursuant to our oversight responsibility are essential to safeguard legislative prerogatives, uphold the rule of law, and ensure transparency and accountability in the management of public resources. I further pray the thoughtful consideration of this plenary and trust in our collective commitment to constitutional governance and institutional integrity. Thanks, and please accept the renewed assurances of my highest esteem. Respectfully submitted, Evelyn Melvin Snow Jr., Senator, Bombing County. Madam President Pro Tem.
Distinguished colleagues, you've heard the reading of the communication from Senator Snow requesting asking plenary to invite the Minister of Finance to ask about the reversal of harmonization. What is your will and pleasure, Senator? Father?
Madam Pro Tem, distinguished colleagues, I move that the second that the communication from Snow be received and turned over to the committees on Ways, Means, Finance, and Budget and Judiciary to report to this body in 2 weeks.
It's been moved and seconded that this communication be returned to Ways, Means, and Finance and Budget and Judiciary. With that clear, I read the vote. On readiness by Senator Brown, followed by Senator
Pro Tem, my readiness to the movement is that, given this has to do with the administering of our financial affairs, I want to request the movement to amend this motion by remove the Committee on Ways, Means, and Finance and replace it with the Committee on Public Accounts to do proper investigation. The other ones are then that Snow be given the usual 2 minutes to elaborate. That's my amendment, sir.
Except in Parliament, and PSCB I reject that Ways and Means be removed.
So already have the harmonization issue being reviewed by the committee in the Senate. Do we want to, it's just a suggestion, do we want to turn this over to that committee, or should we treat it separately since it's the same issue that is being reviewed? Maybe that committee can incorporate all of this into. I'm not amending the motion, I just.
You suggesting? Well, which will help the.
I'm sorry. So, am I correct? You wanted to do an amendment? He's one of those by the committee.
Madam Pro Tem, I just want to support what you are proposing. Okay. I would like to ask the movement to amend and add that since Senator Snow's argument is about the law, the harmonization law here that is being reversed without legislative approval, the judiciary now can join the existing committee.
Any other readiness? With that clear, are you ready to vote? Ready. All in favor say yea. Against? Senator Snow, 2 minutes.
Thank you. My Pro Tem, distinguished colleagues.
Keep it up.
My Pro Tem, in 2019, this legislature enacted the Harmonization Act for the sterilization of enumeration across government ministries and agencies for the 3 branches of government. the beginning and act of the legislature. This legislature, especially this Senate, under your leadership, has been concerned about reversal of harmonization. And according to your mandate, even if it was done incrementally, the issue should be addressed. Because of the seriousness of that, you didn't mention it in your opening address that this legislature should begin to look at the issue of reversing harmonization. And you can only do that if the law is repealed or amended. Thank you. The Minister of Finance, a few days ago, in a public utterance which became law, which made news, informed the country that he had commenced the process of reversing harmonization. He mentioned the GSC, the LACC, the judiciary branch of government, that he already started reversing harmonization. I'm concerned, and I think for the record, and speaking to you who presented to us, this Senate has nothing against the reversal of harmonization. Matter of fact, we want harmonization to be reversed, especially for our civil servants, and you expressed that very well. And you set up a committee to do that. But for the Minister of Finance now to begin the process without coming to this legislature who has enacted a law to either repeal it or amend it and start doing it on its own, then it's like there's no more legislature here. Anybody now can just go ahead and repeal, amend any action of the legislature without legislative involvement or legislative approval. So I'm troubled, I'm concerned about that. And my request is only asking, and thanks to Senator Tyler for the motion, let the minister be invited, meet the committee, meet the committee, and tell us what is his reliance. First, if it's true, and then if so, what is his reliance to begin to amend or repeal an act of the legislature without seeking legislative approval. I thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. So we'll wait for the committee's report. Second.
Report from Standing Committee. Report from the Committee on Autonomous Commission and Agencies on the confirmation hearing of Honorable Dr. Ivan F. Kamano, Chairperson Designate, Public Procurement and Concession Commission, PCC, Public Complaints.
Observation.
What for?
You have the numbers position.
We don't have the number. Let's give it.
I protest the tenant position where no, we don't have.
It's already on the agenda. We are only taking motion for reconsideration. If we didn't remove it from the agenda, we're not removing that.
Use the gavel.
RSCC Speaker, former Speaker, it will be deferred. Very Gallo. Secretary Senate.
Report from Standing Committee. Report from the Joint Committee comprising the committees on Judiciary, Human Rights, Claims and Petitions, and Post and Telecommunications on the request of the President, His Excellency Joseph N. Boakai Sr., to the Senate to de-ratify the TRA-LTA concession agreement. February 4, 2026. The background. The President of Liberia, His Excellency Joseph N. Boakai Sr., in a communication dated November 13, 2025, and addressed to Senator Yongli Kanga Lawrence, President pro tempore of the Liberian Senate, notified the legislature of the executive's decision to suspend the TIA-LTA agreement for telecommunications traffic monitoring services, and subsequently requested the legislature to take steps to de-ratify the concession agreement for the following reasons. One, that the contract was awarded in contravention of the Public Procurement and Concession Commission Act of 2010. Two, that all required procurement processes were bypassed. Three, that TIA was incorporated in the state of Delaware, USA, only 4 days after receiving MAPE documents, and registered in Liberia 10 months after the contract was awarded. 4, that the revenue share granted to TIA was increased to 49% despite its initial bid proposing 35%. 5, that the contract was extended for an additional 20 years without demonstrable value for money. 6, that fraud was established in the procurement process, rendering the contract void ab initio. In line with the modus operandi of the legislature, the President's communication was read in plenary sitting of the Senate and referred to the Joint Committee mentioned supra to investigate the President's decision and request an advice plenary of this matter. Methodology. In furtherance of plenary's mandate, the Joint Committee held a public hearing on Wednesday, January 28, 2026, to gather relevant information and supporting details from all parties involved with the TIA-LTA concession. The following entities were invited and participated in the hearing. The Minister of Justice, the General Auditing Commission, the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, the Liberia Telecommunications Authority, the Liberia Revenue Authority, and the Telecom International Alliance TIA. The Minister of Justice, LACC, and LTA all supported the de-ratification request on grounds that the procurement process that awarded the contract to TIA was marked by fraud. The LRA advised against de-ratifying the contract on grounds that it will send negative signal to would-be investors and deny the country foreign direct investment.
Well, good evening and welcome to the BKS Heat Hour. On the Heat Hour, words are not bullet. Today, we have on the show Mr. Success A.B. Dennis. He usually called Pastor, the only reverend on the platform. And Mr. Saint Cyrus Badier is also on the platform tonight. Welcome, guys. It's a pleasure to be here.
Welcome, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, well, we are back. What's on your mind? I know Mr. Dennis is all set.
What do you mean, man?
Yeah, so we'll be joined by the rest of the folks, so we will start from where we are now. So most of our colleagues will be joining. What's on your mind? What's training? You know, we want to hear from you guys as the rest of the folks join us.
Well,
there are a lot of training.
Plenty things.
Okay. Let's hear from you briefly.
So to begin with, there are a lot of training in our country.
the more trending right now is the ongoing, perpetual homeless conduct of our government, making our people homeless, with this ongoing demolition from community to community. And the more devastating and fascinating issue today was for the president to make a sweeping statement and say that God is not making or creating land any longer. The land belongs to the AFL, and they are coming to take it. These statements are very demeaning, and I think they are kind of condescending on the people who have been victimized by the demolition process and these action of evictions. So these things, they're worth discussions. And sometimes when we flag these issues, sometimes people think that we are against the rule of law of our country. No, the rule of law is being enforced by human beings, and God has given us senses to be able to apply wisdom where wisdom is needed in the process of executing laws. So yeah, basically that's it. So I'm hoping that we'll have an open conversation on this issue, and with that, deeper into them as the show goes on. Thank you.
But I mean, you were unveiling something. What I mean, the issue of people occupying land in Liberia illegally are being an issue thing. So how does it become a problem today? And the AFL, that place is a barrack. The 72nd barrack there, and it's owned by the AFL. So I don't know how today became, very strange thing we discussed today. That's why.
Well, Sarete, I don't know how, I don't want to go HY, but I don't know how old you were prior to the Civil War or after the Civil War and all this stuff. But there are procedures in reclaiming land in our country. One does not wake up one early morning and go claim land, right? So the first thing that happens is when you want to reclaim a property, that more especially that have lasted for generations or decades. Remember now, the AFL left that military barracks in 1990. From 90 up to today's date, they have never made any progress. They are not doing anything to claim that land. Now, it's still their property. We're not depriving the AFL. But because of migration and settlement and all those stuff, other people have come and are not built on those property, adjacent those property, and so on. So the first thing that we expected was for an comprehensive survey. And what the people do in those days is that when you are about to claim be a government or personal property, you go to the Ministry of Lands, and Mining and Energy, and you put in for a survey of your property. The ministry will put an announcement in the air and say this parcel of land from the demarcation to the demarcation will be surveyed at this given point in time. People who have legitimate claim to that property or adjacent property should bring their registered deed. When you do that, it helps you to know whether the people on those land are encroaching on the land, or the people on those land own those land before ever even got there, or there were people who AFL may be claiming.
Mr. Dennis, 1 minute, please. 1 minute, please. That make it a little interactive.
Yes.
I want to get to help the public. Are you telling the public that the land that is being occupied by the people in 72nd, the rightful owner are not the AFL? That's why you say.
You see again, when you have a mindset, you will not allow people to make meaningful point.
No, from your.
No. If you have listened very well, that was not the point I made. I was very emphatic and vivid on my expose. I said, and I repeat, the land has been over there for years.
Okay.
I'm giving you the procedure that is followed. The procedure that is followed by law. The AFL should have conducted a survey through the lands, mines, and energy to establish that, yeah, there's where our property used to be and there's where it ends. Right? If there are people who claim that they own property there as well, will bring their registered deed. And if those deals look legitimate, then the court process step in the AFL can be taken to court for claiming people's property, or AFL can take people to court for claiming their property. The court now will adjudicate the issues. But for AFL to go one money because they are a security institution and government institution and just take a land and say that is our land without taking into consideration the adjacent properties. To me, I think it's just engineer to elaborate people. That's the point I'm making. My father used to live in a 72nd barrio. My father was in the army. So I can answer 72nd does not belong to the AFL. But tell me, what is the demarcation of the 72nd? Where it start, where it end? Shall we take? Do you know where it start and where it end? If I may ask you, I'm asking for the public. Where do the land begin? Where do it end?
I'm trying to understand where you're really coming from, but I'm not, because the thing about is it you want to know the demarcation? Is it the issue of demarcation? They should not be removed from the land or what? I'm not still getting your point.
You will not get it because probably your mind is made on something.
No, I mean you are telling the public that the demarcation of the land, they had to do survey. So I want to know what's the argument surrounding the legitimacy.
The arguments surrounding the thing, the arguments surrounding the arguments surrounding the. Did you hear some of these people talking that our parents bought this land in the 70s? People would make the accusation, right? Some people say our parents bought the land in the 80s. The AFL does not have that jurisdiction to determine will D is valid or is not valid. It is a court that does that. Now, when it goes to the court and the court says, no, Mary, you're not supposed to be here. This place belongs to the AFL. The AFL land begin here as per the very deed that have been brought before the court. Then the removal process can begin. Then okay, for example, like you say, I would tell that you're renting somebody's house. Let's assume you're renting somebody's house. And the person said, my man, okay, be here, take care of the property, do X, Y, Z. And because you are there, right, you choose to maybe make the play a little bit better because you don't want to live to any kind of environment or situation. If that person decides to take that land, they won't come one money arbitrarily. They say, oh, charity, get outside. No, that's not the procedure. They will call you and say, oh, my brother, so and so town will be taking the land. And even if humanity steps in, they will say, you know what? Hold the $10, go for a play for you taking care of this place. All right? So there are a lot of fighters say, we are Liberian, we are human beings. We should not make anything to look like it's politics. No, we are discussing the human nature of it. That's what we are discussing.
Okay. Thank you. I think for me, I would just want to come in a little bit. You know, I understand the point you are coming from, equally so the manner and form in which people occupy land in Liberia. That's one. I feel the pain of the citizens in 72nd. I know there are a lot of things they are going through at this point, but on the overall, we should also get to understand that the 72nd barrier is squarely, for government. And beyond that, like you said, you have your dad in the AFL, and that's the resident or one of the barrier of the AFL. So, Liberian have this tendency where people will occupy land, even if they tell you that this place is for government, you are on the alley, they will keep being on the alley. So it's not a new thing today. Liberians, we need to learn. Sometimes I would say in our common Liberian English, the hard way, because most time people get on this property, warn them, they will refuse. Today, do you know that even the Peace Island is also for government? Do you know that? I'm glad you know that. But today, people are occupying that land. They are there, and government, I think, to some extent, they just, give them go ahead to squat on that land. And even some of these places are just for squatting. I'll give you some example about the Hotel Africa. Are you telling me when Hotel Africa get investor today, they should maintain the people on ground because they are not seeing the boundary. So there are a lot of things happening. The thing is not about politics. Our country, Liberia, is always, at that point where you see citizens will take law into their own hands, just occupy land illegally, and then at the end of the day, just to crap. What is happening to oil in Liberia is we politicize everything. That's what's happening. Look at from the way you are speaking. From the way you are speaking, you don't give a clear position to the Liberian people that they are in legal occupant on the government property. Only because today, when you hear the CDC talking, they want to score gold,
Don't
they
make the
want
thing
vote.
political.
No,
Don't make
that's
it
not fair.
don't make
That's
it a
not
party
fair.
issue, shall we?
No, but
Don't make
that's the point.
Don't make it a party issue. When I
No, but
came here,
that's why you are frustrated.
I provided what the regulation is when it comes to land or claiming land, right? When you buy land, when you want to solve it, you go to
No, but the government and the inhabitants had no debate about that land.
Who
The
told you?
land is for the government, is for the AFL. So how we have
I would
to?
say, as your elderly people in doing those, they had what the law say. You're not doing it, but what the law says about claiming land. Oh, you think somebody can just go one month and just claim land? No, even if for you, people can know it for you. But because generations have grown over time and people are making accusation and counterclaim of the property, you go to the Ministry of Lands and Mine and put in for a survey of the property. And they will put an announcement and say, everybody bring their deed. If you think you claim you have legitimately to a property, adjacent property, or whatever, bring the deed. Charity, I'm an engineer. I'm speaking from a background. That's how it's done. Now, when you do it, why are you doing the survey? People will come say, no, they put your land for me. They put your land for me. The survey now will determine whether there are some legitimate or whatever. And if the survey cannot solve that problem, then it go to the court of competent jurisdiction. It is a court that makes the decision. Now, one money, I'm a barrier, can't around people. We're not,
No. That's where I'm still facing the problem, right? This land in 72nd have been a HO arrangement.
I ask you one question.
Have been a HO arrangement where the government had consideration on serious occasion on the inhabitants on that land. But let get Mr. Cyrus Badia his point.
Before Cyrus come in, can you answer the question? Cyrus, 1 minute, please. Can you answer the question? Where do the 72nd barrel begins and where do we end?
No, you are not getting my point. My point tonight is not about the demarcation. My point is about the illegal occupation.
How do you know the land was illegally occupied when you don't know the demarcation of the land?
No, that's not the point. So the 72nd barrel, are you aware that is for government? That's one thing.
That's same coming. I will continue the conversation. That's same coming.
Yeah. So, Mr. Barrier.
Well, thank you, guys. I'm listening to the debate. It's interesting. When it comes to land, I want my dear brothers and sisters to understand. We Liberians, we have issue with a lot of things. We will sit down and cry and we want development. And then when the development is coming, then we say the government is causing harm to the citizen. But when it comes to occupying government land, 72nd has been, especially the Barry Corridor, has been the place of our armed forces, AFL resident for years. My uncle used to teach at the 72nd Barracks. When we were a young man coming up. So for citizens to go, I know during the war, a lot of people migrated to the capital and took residency all over around the place. And some people started building everywhere in the country. The alley, no alley, they just put it there with the intention to say when development will come. Success, to be honest, I feel the pain that they are feeling as well, but it's not a right thing because some of them, I think they know and understand why this thing is happening to them. Why it's true that it might feel a little bit painful. We need to also consider that this thing was something that some of them were fully aware of.
How do you know?
It's because they didn't ask for demarcation. The bill, some of them knew that this, especially the occupant of the barracks, they know that the barrack was for the military. And then they went and occupied the place. And it's not just now. Ellen Johnson's time, they tried to remove those folks. They get notice, but still, because then there was no drastic action. You know, Liberian will always wait for a last minute result or last minute time to move to make a decision. So these are things that are happening, and we can sit down and say, okay, oh, Ghana looks so beautiful. Oh, China looks so beautiful. America. If we don't take these actions, those things that we praise, or countries that we praise, those things will not happen. Yes, I understand. I realize the pain, and I understand that money right now is tough. But yes, at the end of the day, we will cry and we will find solution.
So, Mr. T, shall we? If I will make a dissenting opinion on what you two of you are kind of trying to defend here is the right. And let me be very clear, let me make a disclaimer, because the very first thing you started here is that I try to support or I'm anti-development. That's not an issue, Mr. Sawete. My point here is development is something. I was in Ghana when the Ghanaian government got ready to break down and develop that Kwame Nkrumah cycle, right? They didn't wake up one morning, go there and begin to inflict injuries on their citizens. When we say injury, it don't have to be physical injury, financial injury, whatever you think, emotional, psychological injury, right? What the government of Ghana did, the first thing they did a complete survey to know how many occupants or business people that have businesses around that Kwame Nkrumah cycle that were encroaching on government property. All right? They did a very long-term plan. Okay? Call those people on the round table, inform them of Ghana's government plan for that property and when it will be taking place. They gave them time. All right? So because of the way they went with the process, when the Ghanaian government got ready to demolish that place, the citizens themselves were helping in the process. All right? The point we are making here, there was no due process for these people. My point I'm making here is this. Everybody owns the 72nd. It's no if and end. All right? But for you to arbitrarily just go and say because we own a property. So why are you saying now, what a government does, or citizens also have a right to do the same thing. So if me here tomorrow, I can leave and just go back to the block because I bought a piece of land and I see property and I say, no, the whole property for me in my land. And the person said, no, I said, no, it's for me. Because I think I got government authority. No, it doesn't work that way. The way it works, when I get there and I see people on the land, and I think that portion of the land belongs for me, first of all, I will engage them. If they insist, then I go to the process. The process is, and west of it, the next thing we feel with that land is a government property. So the people that own those land, they are government citizens. So it's where the government need to come in to ensure that because people have made some level of life investment on that property, why it is true that they worth evasion, your evasion should not inflict injury to the point that you will send a 10, 15 year backward. No government want to do that. All right? When you look beyond the school, the university on Ashmore Street, man. Is that UMU?
UMU.
When you look at the back of UMU there, right? Before that place was encroached upon. People occupy that whole place. It was Mary Brother clear that place, you still want to see across. but she took a process. She didn't woke up one morning and just go demonic people think while they were in bed. You don't do that. Okay? So for me, that's my point. If owns the property, there's no if and end. But now, if I ask all of us on the show here, where do that property begin and where it ends? You will not tell me. And the only people that can do that is the land mass and energy or the land commission. That way it will distinguish the legitimate owner, land owner, the adjacent land owner, and the actual land demarcation of the 77 military barrier. Was that follow? No.
Well, so I think you are on the contrary here.
You were saying on the contrary because
the example you are showing is more of a private homes or private land.
I'm discussing government property.
Hold on now. I am speaking directly to. I mean, except maybe you were born in 2005 or maybe 2023, you will not know that particular land. That barrack is for the military. The 72nd barrack is for the military. People who went, because remember now, we live in a country where anybody can just get on and claim and say this land is mine and sell it to you. So I just told you during Ellen's time, since Ellen's time is almost 18 years now, they made an attempt, or they attempted to, they get these people notice to leave the barrack. But because it was too early to, at the time, people living, just coming from out of war, if that it was too soon to just invade people, they getting some time to.
Are you insinuating or you get factual evidence to what you say?
It's factual, bro.
Where are the evidence?
Well, if I knew we were going to discuss it, I would have brought it out for you to see it today.
Yeah, but that's just what is on your mind, though.
Yeah,
I don't think
I would discuss it.
You brought it up and we
that was a topic on discussion. I would have brought you evidence so you can see what the location of that barrack, where it starts, where it ends. I was going to bring it to you because I live with my uncle in that barrack. So nobody should come sit down here and tell me, oh, the barracks is
I live with my dad in our barrack, so we all know the barrack.
But then that means you don't know where you're talking then. Because if you knew,
Shawty, you answer this question.
No,
so
let make it interactive, Chief.
Or the court supposed to determine if
there's no need to court. There's no need for court to intervene. The thing is, it belongs to the military.
I come in, Mr. Barrier. So, Mr. Dennis, that just give Mr. Barrier the time. Your own topic, that's what we are discussing. But before the both of you come in, I just want to, I have my little concern, like I said. I understand your point first day for you being sympathetic with the people as equally to me as well. But the general point we are making here is about the illegal occupation of the people. Our argument now is how government could at least find a little compensation. If you are saying that, but to say to solve the government, I'm coming. To say government, you want to know the demarcation, the legal proceeding. I don't know. I don't still understand the aspect of legal proceeding because the land belongs to government. Government has done the demarcation. What's the point? I don't see the point there because the land is for government.
The point here is, number one, that land is not in fence. The metal barrier, that barrier is not in fence. Number two, sometimes when you buy land, when you fence it, it is the issue of counterclaim, encroaching, all the stuff. That land is not in fence. People are claiming where the AFL is putting their demarcation today. It is not where the barrier begins and it's not where the barrier ends. That is people claim. Their claim is, yes, it is true the AFL have a barrier, but where they are claiming now is not their property, it is our property. Who can determine that process? It is the court.
So,
But to forcefully remove the people that you think you are infringing on their right. That is the point I'm making, and I'm resolute with this point. I maintain my position.
so if they believe that the government infringed on their rights, they had a right to go to the court. Let them go to the court and prove that the where they live is for them.
Until the case is adjudicated, you cannot.
That's what I'm saying. Let make it easy.
Not make them homeless. You cannot. By right, my man. Whether you can spin the working away, the procedure was wrong, and because you did a wrong procedure, you victimize the citizen. Period.
But
So what is
the AFL in court
So that
with the
do you
occupant?
know? I mean, do you know
The government is not in court with
ask a question.
occupant of the land. I don't know what's
Ask
the
a question.
point.
Do you know that the people who property what they went to court, they sent writ of injunction. The AFL rejected it. Is that a serious government yet? The AFL rejected the court order.
Well, I don't know about whether this government serious or not when it comes to that particular
Same. Why would if I would try to get the injunction order that came from the court that the AFL rejected? Why would you do such thing?
I don't know which school you're talking about, but anyway, what's on my mind?
Answer school.
Yeah, so Mr. Badia, yeah. So what's training? What's on your
it's
mind?
incredible. I woke up this morning. I know it might sound
Like
like
what you wanted to say last night, I think you have the time now to other points you were making. What's the training? For Mr. Dennis, you are giving a point. I know he was going to come from that point anyway. So he's making some point, but why is not adding to it?
I want to be my soothsayer because I want to go do things. Africa say how you can determine the future.
So you can go ahead.
No. So last night I was just trying to say that our brothers with everything that going on CMC. I think CMC.
Mr. Badia, 1 minute. Are you a member of a political party?
At this point, no.
Man, it's a Fernando of the UP, man. I don't got man. The man is a Fernando of the UP.
No, don't claim like that. No, I'm not. I've never been a UP member, and to be honest, right? I have never been just a common supporter. Even I'm not member of the UP, but I have never been a supporter of the UP. Have I supported political parties in Liberia? Yes. I supported Liberty Party in 2017 based on the fact that Councillor Bronstein, I listened to him and he was making some sense. So I supported Liberty Party in 2017 election. And then in 2023, I supported Alexander Cummings based on the fact that the ideas that he was pushing for Liberia. At this point, after we lost, I am independent on my own and observing the political activities in Liberia. So I have no political party at this point. But I was just trying to say that, but trust me, I have followed a lot of political events, happenings in the country, the way people move from one political party to another, based on the fact that money influences the politics in our country. I don't think there's too much loyalty in the country. That's where my problem comes.
When you say that, what do you mean? What? Loyalty. So with the training issue in the CMC, is that what you're referring to?
When I say that, it means that people close from one political party to another, some are there to either maximize, some are there to just for political gain in terms of getting money and crossing over to another political party.
So 1 minute, Mr. Badi, are you, sorry for this question, are you a Christian or Muslim, or which religion you from?
I belong to no religion.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because the reason I'm asking you, in our normal library English, sometimes they say politics is interest, and sometimes they say political reward is not in heaven. The reason I hope I'm not cutting you off, but what I'm saying is that we used to have a politician those days they call Kekula Poto. So usually he will goes to where is fitting for him at that point. And when you say where, then they have another parable is where Kekula Poto. So where his interest is at that point is where he joined. So he didn't have a stable political party. So most politicians, I think they take the trend on that part.
The political motivation.
Yeah. So that's is there where you're coming from? That's what I want to know.
I read about Kekula Poto, and ideology was great. To be honest with you, he was a smart man, in politics. No, seriously. But the way he was doing it, I picked up the last time I read about him a lot. But he wasn't. His ideology was not like collecting money to cross over to another political party. The way he was doing it like, okay, this party is going to win, so let me identify myself with this party. Then when they win, I can have a job. So that's his ideology. But most of our political parties, because we have multiple political parties now. So people will receive money from this person and go to this person. And some people will even be in the other party and be working for this other party. That's all I'm saying. Somebody said me, somebody, are you up again? So there is a in a religion, when it comes to religion, people get Muslim, Buddhism, Hinduism, all of those things. I belong into my own word. The Christianity thing, the slap behind it, when you do more research, it's another topic for another day.
So let's not go biblical, because without very on the show, So is that what on your mind? We'll get to it. Maybe
So what on my mind today is that I'm concerned about our country. I'm concerned. I just want to get on one day and see President Joseph Iman Baka to hear the news that he has signed an executive order to only use Liberian dollars in the country. Or the one representative will wake up one day and introduce a bill that will promote Liberian currency only instead of U.S. Liberty computing with U.S. dollars in the country. COA and so said this has been some of the things that I really think that if we want to really move Liberia forward, Liberian currency should be used for Liberia. Only Liberian dollar can improve Liberian economy. There's no way that U.S. dollars or Liberian dollar will be competing against U.S. dollars to see the development we really want in the country. The reason people coming back on packing things or packing money from our country is because the attraction of the U.S. dollars. So I've yet to see, even if they're not Joseph Baka administration, I wait to see one day that Liberian dollar will be used in Liberia only, a currency that Liberian will be using instead of using dual currency in the country. Thank you.
I want to ask you that you made a very salient point, but do you have any economic backing to that effect? Because the issue of the dual currency, I think you should also look at it from that aspect. If you talk about using a single currency, what informed that decision? That's one. I mean, saying it is good, but what policy is guided by that? That's one. That's one of the key issues there.
So Do I have a
policy to use our own money?
Yes.
What policy you mean?
So
I'm saying it should be backed by economic, policy. Why inform the decision? The first thing you should be informed. You don't just wake up and make pronouncement. Saying it is good, but you're looking at your own money, but you're not looking at the economic implication.
That what is on your mind? But let me respond to my brother a little bit.
Okay.
In the very first place, there should have been no US dollar on the market. So the issue of what informed the decision that what it sound outrageous to me. There should have been no US dollar on the market in the very first place.
Where in Liberia? Are you discussing Liberia or Guinea?
I come in. From the 80s or from the 70s, there were US dollar on the market, early 80s. Somewhere around 1982 or 85, one of them.
But in the 70s, we use both currency.
No.
I use that.
I said no. There's nowhere there were any Liberian currency in the 70s. Stop. Right? US dollar was the legal tender. Okay. When Samuel Doe introduced the Liberian dollars, I know there were Liberian dollars, but when Samuel Doe introduced the Doe coin and SYZ, somewhere around in the early 80s, when we brought in that currency called the Liberian dollar, we should immediately getting rid of the US dollar because you can't have two currencies running one economy, right? Now, when you go to other countries around the world, in Ghana, Sierra Leone, Africa, the US dollar is there, but it's not running the day-to-day affairs of the economy. Okay, the government controls the United States dollar. In our country, the US dollar is suppressing the Liberian dollar. So it makes it difficult for our economy. Once you have an exchange rate to enable you purchase, there will always be an issue. And the reason why the guys are maintaining, they know why they maintain it because both of them from here. So while they are there, they're making the US dollar and remaking the year and taking care of them, their equity, they take their bills and their rent, whatever you call it, So that is the problem. I don't think we need an economic advisor to get Liberian dollar off the market. If Liberian choose to get that money off the market, it's very easy. All payment of both tariff, salary, everything is paid in Liberian dollars. Okay? If business people want the US dollar, go to the bank. It's there. Buy it from the bank. Go and use it at the foreign level. When you come to Liberia, it's the Liberian dollars. But you're collecting all your taxes. All your taxes in US dollar. Yeah. All your taxes in US dollar. People got allowances in US dollar, they got salary or component in Liberian dollar. So it's embarrassing our economy. All right? And somebody should not come and tell me, say, we're not importing, we're importing. We're importing. What we're importing is there, we're importing. You know how many rubber live in Liberia? Do you know how many iron ore leave Liberia? And so we're not importing. Do you know how many cocoa leave Liberia on a daily basis? And we say that we're not importing, we're importing.
So for that point, Mr. Badier, for me,
your question is what informed the decision?
Yeah.
One answer to you is Liberianization. Liberianization is one thing I believe in. In order to achieve that, we have to get rid of the US dollars in the streets. Is it you can go to the bank and change it, and if you want to go do a trade, you can go to the bank, make another change, and then go do a trade. It's effective now in Ghana. Most countries that developing rapidly now is they don't use dual currencies like the way we do in our country. You see that, like Success said, it's corruption in a country where people talking about corruption every day is because of US dollars. People gravitate toward US dollars, and I can sit down in Liberia and use US dollar to pay my rent here in America. But if that was not okay, it won't be that way. So we need to use only Liberian dollar to pay our workers. The government should use Liberian dollars only. To run day-to-day activities in the country. People who are going for trading, you can go to the bank, make an exchange, and go to another country and do a purchase. That way, Liberia will move forward. So that's what made my decision.
Yeah, thank you. You know, when I say why we inform the decision, you know, Liberia as a country first, let's get to know that our country, we are version for this one currency bill, granted. But why we inform this decision that we had to take into consideration is we need to have a strong, you know, macroeconomic stability. That's one. From HO is not only about whether Unity Party, Joseph Boakai, no. The first thing again, the second thing is we need to also establish the issue of high confidence in the Liberian dollar. Do we have? Not absolutely. Look, another thing we also need to look at is the consistent fiscal discipline we don't have up to now in Liberia. Look, right now, do we have? We still struggling with our economy. I mean, even the productive local economy and export growth, do we have? Absolutely not. We don't have. So one thing we need to, all of these things in theory is good. We can say it, but in practice, that's one. We need to look at all of these things. One thing you need to look at is that the US dollars is also a legal, currency within Liberia. And when you look at the definition of money, they say what? The medium of exchange. So how do people transact? It's mostly today, like I said, the fiscal discipline. Most of our transaction today is done in what? Is done in the United States dollar. Wow. The reason is most of our trade is done in United States dollars, right? Now, today, trade and input, what's our transaction, is done in the United States dollar. One thing we don't have as a country, when I say the economic bargain, those are key indicators. Another indicators are what? We as a country, you don't even have a comparative advantage. Do you have? No, you don't have as a country. You don't have as a country. You say you got rubber. Do you produce rubber for people to say, okay, like the way Africa looking? If you look at on the global index right now, in a sub-region, you'll see that Africa is performing. The reason Africa is performing is very simple, because Africans have a comparative advantage. They are having a very huge portfolio of export. So at the end of the day, you have more money coming in. It's competing with another side. But unlike Liberia, that's the point. So all of these things that are laid out, we don't have it in the country. So how do you make the decision? I'm coming.
Just say 1 second.
I'm coming. I mean, layman thought. I don't
want our point, but you just dangling around the issue. You support our point.
No, listen to me. I know you don't use which one you got dangling. Huh? I'm giving you a fair economic. I'm giving you a fair economic point. Is it dangling? All of these things I told you. Even if you call Gafon today, he will lay out this point. Yes, he's one of the best.
The man are accounting. You even know the poor are beyond.
He's one of the best.
He's not an economist.
So, my brother, let's listen now.
Yeah, but don't give the poor information.
No, be fair. Say all of what I say is wrong. Then we'll understand that. So for me, I have not come maybe to teach, but from the little background I got, those are key indicators that Liberia as a country right now, we can train on that path. Because you don't even have that confidence in your own currency. That's one. The first thing is, before you made all these things, you got to be independent. How do you look? The first thing is we say now over there, all of our salary, 60% in US, 40% in Liberian dollar. Why is it happening?
Put it in Liberian dollar and leave it there.
I'm coming. I lay out all these points to you, right? And the first thing we need to understand here is what this whole thing, you cannot just wake up to do it. The first thing is we need to look at the issue of the dollarization issue. The US dollar dominate more in salary, rental, import. How do we denounce that? The first thing right now, you pay your house, you success, you pay your house, you want to rent a house, you go tell somebody 250. When that person get liberty, the person going run for USD. What happening there? They got more confidence in the United States dollars than Liberian dollar. The entire country. No, watch up. Just wait. So even in a local small economy in Liberia, everybody, small transaction, everybody running for US. So what I'm saying to you is the reason why most of these things are happening is most of our trade transaction is mostly in the United States dollar. And besides that, there's a huge chunk of United States dollar battling with the Liberian dollars. So if you start to use Liberian dollar today, what confidence do you have in your economy to do that? So it will take time. The only thing we can do, for me to conclude, we can do is to minimize the issue of cash, to make it a little cashless based system where the mobile money, both orange and second, can be widely used, where citizens will get like where you live in the US, there you all are living there. People use
Where you live?
People use like where I went to school in East Africa. People mostly in the region, people use mobile money. So when you bring this kind of policy, it also help to minimize the volatility of cash. But if we just wake up today, United States dollar, we don't want, where we going? What confidence do you have in your in the Liberian dollars? So sometimes it's not about saying it, but it's about how effective you can, how effective you can effectuate that change. That's one. So I mean, when we're making the kind of statement, we should also, that's why I said what guard our policy.
So it's funny that you all learn some things, but I want you to also understand: do we have confidence within ourselves as a country? Let's look at Guinea. In Guinea, you use Guinea. Guinea does not have the CFA francs, but they got Guinean francs. Sékou Touré put his foot down at some point in his days and said he will use Guinean francs instead of CFA francs. Liberian, the reason with Liberia is that it's the dependency syndrome that we have, that yes, without the US, we can't do anything. Yes, with our history and all of those things, we still think that we cannot be independent. Everything you outline here, how can we start doing it? We got to start from somewhere. Samuel Doe, with everything that was going on in Liberia, when he introduced Doe coin, I can remember in the late 1980, Liberia was booming. The economy was booming. Cocoa and coffee was just everywhere. We were buying cocoa and coffee. We were not using US dollars in my country, especially. I mean, for most part, what our transaction was done in Doe coin, and the economy was getting better. So it's just a belief that we Liberian, we are not able to move forward and be independent. Can we start from somewhere? How can we start from somewhere with everything that you learn? We have to have the mindset that Liberia is for us. We have to have the mindset that this is our country, and we need to do everything to reclaim our country and be patriotic to our country. Secretary, I think most of the reasons that those things are not done is people, most we know they respect to them. Some of our brothers and sisters who have the privilege to serve in the government, their belief is to get the USS and bank it somewhere. Maybe when they leave power today, they will leave and go live in another country and enjoy themselves. But if we have that mindset that Liberia is for all, we want to develop Liberia and live in Liberia, those things can be done. Everything that you outline here is about policy. You can craft a policy, a strong policy that can guide our currency. The beginning of everything is difficult, but it can be achieved when you are focused. So we have to have that focused mind. And first of all, commit to Liberia that this is our country and the patriotism must prevail. It can be achieved. But if we keep giving excuses, how can this be done? How can it be done? We don't have physical vulnerability of our economy. Yeah, but then it will stay long inside until Jesus Christ comes, provided if Jesus will come. So I start right there.
Thank you. No, maybe you
talk a lot.
No, I'm not talking. I'm trying to get you the flow, right?
Oh, sorry, Chief. Sorry.
Yeah.
Today I'm scared. So if you put me in the corner,
No. I can put you in the back. Trust me, I don't do that. But in all fairness, that's why I say it should be guided and by policy. It will not just wake up and do that. Look, all of what we're doing today, we also need to look at the economy we are speaking about. All of these countries you are talking about, they got something to pull out. Why is Liberia setting outside in the layman thing? We're not saying everything. Even Pepper will get it from Guinea, from other areas. Those are just the common things we should look at. So, come in, Mr. Dennis.
Yeah. Let me say this to you, right? I will do it tomorrow. That why got some people poor today, and that why got some people rich today. The management, the adequate management of time and the equitable distribution of the time God has given us determine the result we get on this earth. All right? Liberia is a country, you say we don't have confidence in our Liberian. No. It is our government that have made the Liberian dollar to be so vulnerable and inferior to the United States dollar in our country. Now, I'm not saying there will come a time in life where the Liberian dollar that will come on par. It's not what I'm saying yet, right? There will always be a superior difference between the Liberian dollar and the US dollar. But one thing we should understand here.
Also, one second. I just want to remind us that during the early 1980s, there were the Liberian dollar and US dollar were 1-to-1. Just for us to know that.
Right. So, right. People say, "Oh, we're not exporting, we're not doing this." Besides cocoa and coffee, rubber, iron ore, what else were actually exporting during the war? I mean, before the war. What else? Iron ore, cocoa, rubber. These were our major export we had in the country, and we still have them today. Mm-hmm. We still have them today. All right. Our extractive industry is being depleted on a daily basis, yet we say we're not exporting because we make our industry vulnerable, and so foreigners are coming into it and taking advantage of it. Look, I'll say this to you. If everything on the market is in Liberian dollars, and if business people want US dollar, deal with the bank, brother, it will minimize what Liberian people are going through. That I have a US dollar in my hand and I want to buy something, I cannot go straight to the store to buy. I have to convert that money to the US dollar. There where our Liberian people suffering coming from. Mm-hmm. There where the suffering coming from. All right? And the government need to stop paying people in United States dollars. If you pay me 10,000 Liberian dollars and I don't have to go for my head to find exchange rate, high rate or low rate, I don't have a problem. If I go to the store, I want to buy zinc. zinc is sold in Liberian dollars, I don't have a problem. If I want to buy cement, cement is sold in Liberian dollars, I don't have a problem. Don't get me wrong to say that it means that the US dollar will be completely diminished off our market. No, it will be there, but it has a limitation. And the limitation it has is with the banking sector. When you want it, you go to the bank. So you know what will happen now? Individual don't just go to the bank today and say, I want 50,000 United States dollars. Because you know what? Government will regulate that process. If you went there and you want 50,000 dollars, are you a business institution? What you doing? Is it an NGO? What is it that you want to do that you want this money? Right? They will regulate it. But because the US dollar is floating everywhere, any corner you enter, you see the US dollar.
Yeah.
The US dollar becomes like, I don't know. So it has become a problem for our economists, and the government is not yet, boycott alone. We even preach this thing to our regime. We have to do something about it. I will pause for now. I'm taking a very significant call. Sorry, I'll be by in 1 second.
Thank you. Yeah, so, it's a fun point, like you said, from issue that cannot be changed. But for me, on my mind, we have the next maybe 20 to 25 minutes.
Let people full of trouble. They born full of trouble. They may one day in the poor child cause in trouble.
So, sir, me yourself.
You're sorry. I can't mute you.
No, okay, thank you.
So, yeah, that man a political man. So, the reality of what is happening in our country. That's when people speaking about economic issue like that, it sometimes get me a little confused, because we are discussing the current state of our economy. Can you compare Liberia as a country we are with pre-war status? No. There are numerous of challenges. There are a lot of things we are at the back in every economic level. So, saying it is good, it's very good, but the implementation, that's one. What informs some of the decision is a gradual process, is being guided by policy. So for me, in my mind, the issue of that dual currency thing it will be handled, but the way to handle it is how we as a country, you have Firestone there. Even all of our people who got a cocoa farm, at the end of the day, who they sell to, we sell the raw material. At the end of the day, they live with it. We don't have anything as a comparative advantage. That's what I'm saying. So until Liberia can gravitate to that level, the reason we see Africa Coast and they are the world most importer today, because they are reached a certain level, and all of these things they are exporting. Their currency is also battling with the United States dollars. It's competing with the United States dollar. But we, Liberia, what do we have? What do we have to compete? Nothing. We don't export. We only get things out. You see people running to China every day, running to China, running to Dubai. At the end of the day, what do you need? You need United States dollars. Why will Dubai come to buy from you? Why will other countries come to buy from you? That's what we call a comparative advantage. I get salt, you get chicken soup. No, we don't have any of them. That's why they call it comparative advantage in economics. We don't have any. So what I'm saying here is just we are all on the same path. We want the better out of Liberia, but how do we get there? That's one. So for me, what's on my mind is I know we got
on your mind, I want to ask this question.
No, but we discussing
the situation. I want to ask the economic issue, the exchange, the US dollar and the Liberian dollar. Same question I want to ask you.
You say what?
The same question about the Liberian, the US dollar, and you just end it on the right. You want to go to what on your mind now? But I said before you go to what on your mind, I got a question on this topic that is on the discussion.
Okay, no problem. Go ahead.
Yeah, my question here is: we ended Liberian Civil War in 2005 because that's what we had it. Let's just I put it at I know it ended around 2003, but I put it at 2005, right? We had an election from 2005 up to present. What has stopped all of our government from ensuring that all of those, or company that within our extractive industry ensure that they have a production plant in our country. Firestone here, if you can't do everything, but at least make rubber spoon here. Or acid metal here, you can't do anything, at least make someone out there. Get the iron store they can put on the boost. They make it right here. Yeah, those that carry our log, yeah, make one plywood factory here. Right? How much it will cost us to make sure that the guys do these things so that we can have, because when you do these things, right, you produce, plywood, you producing steel rod, you producing some rubber materials, or what have you, you will find out that, like what you said, our neighboring country will start to come to our country to procure those valuable items, right?
That's a simple. I'm
not debating that, right? My point here is that we shouldn't make it to be that it's difficult to do when it's easy to do and we are refused to do it. All right? So that is the problem with us speaking. Because once you do that, right, people who are coming to buy will come with foreign currency, but our local procurement process is in the local currency. That way you get strength to the Liberian dollar to survive. Okay? This few days, you say you get $600, some $1,000 or local farmer subsidy. That why you say in your sooner. This subsidy you're getting, whether it was in US dollar, it was in Liberian dollar, and how effective it was or it is within the agriculture sector, nobody knows why. Because there's this economic battle between the US dollar and the Liberian dollar. It's a problem. So I agree. I'm not debating your point, but my point you're saying, and what we're trying to say is that this thing, we don't need a rocket scientist to do it. Once our legislator put their foot down and say, look, you know why? And they just signed the MDA. They just ratify the reaffirmation of the MDA, right? What in there that will benefit Nima County or Liberia in general? Nothing. Nothing. How much it will cost as that meter?
Why you say nothing?
My man, nothing that don't mushroom thing again, or why you going to call nothing here?
Well,
how much it will cost as that metal? Okay, my man, the 100% of the product you or the mineral you extract from our country, yes. Export 50%. What? Produce this material or with all 50% in the country. So you see iron ore factory coming. Mama, just you in the midst of civil war, they may have plywood factory. In the midst of civil war, they may have plywood factory. And people from Grand Pass will be employed at that OTC plywood factory. Why we find it difficult in the generation? So, we sing the same song, brother.
So that's why I say, the point when I said from the beginning, what should inform the decision, that's where I was coming from. Because the first thing is the transaction you even got in your country is on a low scale. We don't have a large scale transaction. Everything we do in Liberia is not of large scale. So at the end of the day, we get the Liberian dollar, we take it out. So in the layman to not even go to the economic side, I just want you to look at this point, you will see that the US rate will be a little stable or computing with the Liberian dollar. But just go around December, you see the demand for between November, December, October, you see the demand for US dollar because more person want US dollar to go for goods, right? So you will see that our local transaction, it will be at a low scale while the one out will increase. So most time when you see these things and nobody coming to us to infuse into our economy, we always going out. That's the reality. So for me in my mind, to remedy some of these things, if I'm to recommend to government, we introduce a more vibrant and aggressive mobile money system because I can say almost everywhere in Liberia now we got network. Once you transact,
the city of containers that we introduce it for payroll system also will be criminal. I don't want to buy again.
No. That I'm not talking about payroll now. I'm talking about
something. That could be the beginning point.
No, don't distract the conversation. I'm talking about transaction. Payroll is different thing than transactional stuff. What I'm saying here, if you get on a motorbike from Dupero Junction to ERW Junction, you don't have to put money in your wallet or you don't have to put hands in your wallet. You just leave on the back and pay the guy. Once you get your alarm, you're gone. So it will also reduce the issue of liquid in the market. That's what I'm saying.
I know that the presence of liquid cash in the market is affecting the economy as well. It's not debatable. It's factual, right? We agree. The reason why, and the next thing it does is it minimize corruption. The reason why people steal in America, but they steal through the system. If somebody want to steal money in the U.S. government, they will steal through the system. But
but those things, when it happen, that's what I'm saying. It's a fun debate. But today, but for me, we have in the next maybe 15 minutes we'll be over the show. But yesterday the superintendent, the day before yesterday, the superintendent broke the news for the construction of the Nima Bank. I was privileged to be part of that team when we drafted the committee for that, because most of these places, the legal side is involved, the financial side, and all of these, professional side was also involved. So it will be a good thing having, for me. I'm happy because what have come to Nima for the last 20 years, we have benefited little, but we want a substantial development, sustainable, that generation to go and come, and it will be shown to our children's children, and even we that are still on the face of the earth can also see what we are doing or what will be done with our money. The first thing is, Nima is not just going into just opening a development and investment bank right away. It's a gradual process. What we will want to do as a country is to have a microfinance first. From there, after all of the legal process that has to do with opening a full-fledged bank, we are capable of doing that. But it had to be a process, and it's a good thing. We welcome and appreciate the superintendent for implementing that dream, because that being some of us, our thinking, some of us dream, because when you have a sustainable plan, mind you, all of what is coming out of Nima today is because of that resources. And resources, like we say, is a natural resources. We don't know when it will get depleted. So if the government or the resources get depleted today, what Nima is getting, 1.5 million, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, whatever million, we will never have that million anymore. Today we got bombing hole, Nima will get the same, maybe Nima hole. So before we can reach to that level, I'm glad that the leadership of the county has taken a very bold step that will benefit our county. That is very welcoming, and I support that to the fullest, because it will also help even for Nimbayans to get hold to their own money and develop their own county through that. But I think we will expand. People who have, if we have other thoughts on that, then of course. But I think in the next 10-15 minutes, we will be off. That's what I can say. So
my question to that is that Nima not being, and don't get me wrong, that I'm against the idea. Even where we sit here in the United States, there are local credit union banks that are being used to, for local transaction, local activities. But my question here, Nima not be an independent country which survives on the economy of Liberia, deal with Liberian currency. How do Nima intend, since you say you want the architect, the proponent of that framework document, how do Nima intend to carry on the sustainability of that initiative they are about to undertake? What are the mechanisms put into place? Is Nima going to control our own economies? Is she going to go? We have a centralized government where everything is being controlled by central government. So they Nima have our own bank. It just to benefit where people don't have to travel to Monrovia to put money in their account. They can leave there, put money in Nima bank and withdraw it from Nima bank. Is that just it, or is that bank going to be so empowered to the point that it will give loan to Libadians? open financial opportunity to Nibadian in 8 years. How do they intend to generate the funding to do such? So that's my question.
Yeah, I know Mr. Badi want to come in, but let me just address that very quickly. You know, you and myself, on a very fair note, when they talk about having a bank, it's not anything strange or new or big. The first thing is the three of us on this platform, based on our, bank is a corporation, right? So the three of us on this platform can even buy share and open your bank. And the Liberia government has from central bank have a regulatory framework where every legal proceeding will be followed. That's why I said from the beginning, from the beginning stage, it will be a microfinance bank, and then the structure will be there, and then elevated to a full-fledged bank. One thing that we have a lot of business people in Nimba. You have the likes of Mr. Flo Toma. You have
plenty, brother, plenty.
Yeah, there are many. So we will also open. The plan is we'll also open that for people getting share. Those are plan, and that we have that I think the administration has. But in that, when it comes to loan, obviously you get loan out to maximize profit. Man, you got people in that place, right? In Nima. That's why it's making most of the guys reach to the 25%. So that means out of 1,000, somebody is making $250. So if you are making maybe 100,000 or more, so just calculate 250 by 100,000. You know how much you're making there? At that point, you're making good money. 25% of that one, you're making around 250. So if somebody making 100,000, you're making 25,000 from there. 1 million, you're making, 250,000 just from on one person salary. So there are a lot of things that even the country can leverage on. So this opportunity is crucial and is sustainable, because at the end of the day, once Nimba has those things, they will also create employment for Nimbayans, and it will also be a good Nimbayans will get loan, and equally people who are suffering getting salary while going to these places, getting loan, businesses, the business community will also help. It will also help the business community. So, I mean, on the overall, you and myself, when it comes to bank and the issue of how sustainable it is, like I told you, is a long-term investment that you success can go and even buy share. It's a business. So those are the plan.
Well, we hope to see the sustainability and how guaranteed it is, because that's
it is.
I mean, don't just say it is. That is a new thing.
So what?
It's a new thing. We welcome it. We embrace it.
Yeah,
we
of course.
to be robust and deliberate of the actions we take. Because
sorry, I'm not a spokesperson. I'm just celebrating the idea. I'm happy about that because it will benefit our people. But in due time, we invite the relevant stakeholder to propound on it. But for me, what I do know, and the little hint and guide is what I'm saying. Obviously, that's how it will be. So I will just lay on those points.
So, Sarate, it sounds pretty nice to me, but it goes back to where we were talking about Liberian USRs and again. So I remember during President Celine time, the bank governor was all over in the countries, various countries, opening I think it was what? Microfinancing bank all over in the country, various countries. I don't know why that is stated for those things. The banks today, credit union. I still the theory itself sounds good, But I would need to do more research on that when it comes to a county development bank or county microfinance bank. I think there's a lot to that. There's a lot to that with the polarized country, especially the country we have with political differences, people differing with each other, really on a negative level. It's something that I need to really read. Did a little bit of research on my own to do a comparison analysis on whether or not it's going to work better for the county. I know it sounds so pretty, but I think it's going to be a little bit challenging because we live in a country and a county with different political view. Everything in our country now is political credit. Who will want to get this person political credit? So yes, the idea alone is good because we need those things, and so that we can move forward as a country. Everything can be in Monrovia. That's a good idea, and it's maybe when the appropriate person come and do a presentation to the people. I think what they should do now is to do a little bit of debate on it instead of breaking ground on it. Maybe breaking ground too might spike the debate so we can get into understanding how the pros and cons to that.
Thank you. So in the next 2 minutes, you can give your parting comments and then we call it a day.
Well, today is a wonderful debate. We didn't have a specific topic, but it's always good to come to keep the show running. We'll have tomorrow. I'm guessing that we having a big guest tomorrow, Friday, right? Yeah. So we having guests tomorrow, and we encourage our followers to turn in tomorrow. It's going to be a really hot show tomorrow. We're going to be debating a little bit tomorrow. So we encourage our listeners and viewers and, come on and listen to us. And tomorrow, I guess it's going to be more about Nimba County. That's going to be like today we talk about economy and national government, military barrier demolition and stuff like that. It's going to be maybe Nimba County, and which is a good thing to discuss what is happening in our country. It's good to be informed about the happenings in our country. Liberia is all we have, and my position remains the same. When it comes to Liberianization, where we'll use Liberian dialects, is possible, it's doable, it can be done. We need our people to be encouraged to believe that this is our country with all Liberia stuff. No matter what we do, we live where we live. When we think whatever we have, at the end of the day, Liberia is a place, it's a country where you were born. It's your country, and we take it seriously. We can do it. We need good people in government who would think Liberia, eat Liberia, drink Liberia. Not people who will come in government, take it, and live in another country. By the time they take food, they will leave and go live with their family in another country. That's not those kind of people we want in Liberia in government. We want people who would craft a policy and say, you know what, Gate from maybe Brother, I will bring a pepper or bitter ball to the market and sell, and equally get Liberian dollar like people who work in government. I think it's unfair to the Liberian people where other people are playing with US dollars. Then majority of our people are suffering because you can't sell US dollars, bitter ball or peanut butter and get more in US dollars and sustain your family. I think we need to go back and think twice and present an economic plan, policy that will sustain our country and do a better thing with our, be better for our children and generation to come. Thank you for being on the show. Thank you for watching. I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow.
Thank you, Mr. Badier. Mr. Dennis, in 2 minutes, the party comment, Chief.
Yeah, my man, we just want to bless God that we are here again. Today was a great show. I'm a team, my stand on the land dispute issue between the armed forces of Liberia, the AFL own, huge portion of that land, but it doesn't mean that there were no adjacent property owners. And if for us to be able to duly demarcate what the AFL owned, there might be a survey conducted to identify people who own land. But to arbitrarily throw people off the land because you think that AFL owned it, to me, I think it's wrong. And with that concert, we injure the Liberian people. With that being said, everything we said today with the economy and the rest of it is good. It's good. And we hope to see that our government can see reason to improve on those things. So have a wonderful night and God bless you all.
Thank you, folks, and thanks for following the Heat Hour. So, on our platform, we say words, not bullet. So we meet you tomorrow, hopefully. Same time, same medium. Thank you. Good night.